Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. In our Freedom Talk yesterday, we heard a lovely reflection about how what we are listening to in Meaningful Mornings feels like Sri Krishna speaking directly. For all of you who feel this, the greatness is not in what you are listening to, the greatness is in you. For you have made yourself Prince Arjuna. The word Arjuna comes from Arjavam, which means the one who is open. Right now, the portion of chapter 7 that we're focusing on is the ends. What our journey will be completed in. That is a jnani. One who is not trying to become happy, but rather one who is being happy. In verse 19, Bahunam janmanam ante. I was sharing in our parenting culture workshop recently that parenting is a comprehensive and constant responsibility. Whether you have an adopted child, whether your biological child is 70 years old, parenting is comprehensive, it is constant. What else is like that? Being a seeker, one who is practicing values. In this quarter, Sri Krishna is sharing, we will know we are reaching the ends when our virtues ripen. They are comprehensive, they are constant. Jnanavan mam prapadyate. The one who knows there's no other way to be joy other than the divine way, other than being inward looking. And that is why such bhakti is described as ananya. There is no other way. This is unqualified devotion. Don't interpret unqualified in a technical sense. It means unreserved. That one recklessly lives to convert values to virtues. There is no other purpose. Vasudevaha sarvamiti. Then one will experience only divinity, only infinity. Divinity with your eyes open, infinity with your eyes closed. Please try to remember, please try to have faith that Sri Krishna is only teaching that which is possible. Why would he teach that which is not possible? With an objective science, you can teach that which is impossible. As an example, right now it's impossible to live on Neptune. Correct? It's not possible. It may never be possible. In a subjective science, the teachings are only about possibility. Samahatma sudurlabaha, the one who knows the creator consciousness is a Mahatma. Sudurlabaha means it is difficult to be such a personality And this teaching is very much in line with how we began this chapter. Out of thousands of searchers, there is one seeker. Out of thousands of seekers, there is one savior. The word here used is Mahatma, one who knows. And I had shared that this should be a message of not dejection, but inspiration for us. I'm reading some of the writing of Pujya Swami Chinmayananda before we continue to the next verse. This does not mean that no one among us, now striving so hard as we do at present, has any chance of reaching the goal of life in this very birth. It is not in any pessimistic hopelessness and total despair that this statement is made by the Lord in the Gita. On the other hand, it is solely for bringing into the recognition of the student the urgency of his faithful pursuit of the higher life. The very fact that a seeker has come to feel a disappointment with his present state of existence, and the fact that he has discovered enough intellectual capacity to appreciate and comprehend the subtle thoughts of the Upanishadic lore, clearly shows that he has reached the very archway to the temple of the self. A little more sincere and steady self-application can take him to the highest state of his evolution. By a show of hands, how many of you will be enlightened in this lifetime? I had heard an awesome quote. If you think you can, or you think you can't, you're probably right. If you think you can be enlightened, you're probably right. If you think you can't be enlightened, you are probably right. What's stopping you from being enlightened? The subjective science is not context-based. It is not the weather. It is not your skin type. It is you. Shri Krishna elaborates on what holds us back in verse 20. Kamaiste hritagnyanaha prapadyante nyadevataha tam tam niyamam astaya prakritya niyata swaya. Kamehi, desires. Taihi hrit jnanaha, the knowledge in one's heart. This is stolen. How is it stolen? By desire for this and desire for that. In every chapter, Sri Krishna reiterates this message that our enemies are not countries. Our enemies are not even the equipment. Our enemy is the ego. This ego drives the equipments to feel like an enemy, drives countries to feel like they are enemies. The more desires we have, the more thoughts we have. This is beautifully shown with a child and how easily and well a child sleeps. They have less thoughts because they have less desires. You can give them anything creative, and that is satisfactory to them. We tend not to live like that. When we have too many thoughts, we stop tuning into reality. If your mind is wild right now, even though what I'm sharing is directly from Sri Krishna, this feels very unreal. Agreed? When we have too many thoughts, we stop understanding. We stop understanding ourselves. We stop understanding others. Prabhadyante anya devataha. These desires, prabhadyante, they direct us. To what? Anya. Other. Devataha. Other. Devataha means gods. We use this term in this context as semi-gods. Not Sri Krishna, but rather Indra, Apsara, and so on. There's many ways to reflect on this quarter. One way would be to take this in a very extroverted way, that when we are not devoted to Sri Krishna, then we become devoted to other religions. Seems like a very fighting quarter, correct? Causing a lot of dislike. If we interpret this more universally, when we are not devoted to Sri Krishna, we are devoted to rituals then. Rituals towards Indra, Apsara, and so on. But all of us, all of you are reflecting lots. Do you remember how I defined Vasudeva? What does Vasudeva mean? Please share in the chat. Deva means light. Vasati, the light that lives within us. So here, the other Deva, in other words, the other light, what brings light to our life? What illuminates the world for us? The sense organs. My eyes bring life to books, correct? My ears bring life to the birds. Those who are not devoted to Sri Krishna, what did they do then? They're devoted to their sense organs. That's Anya Devataha. Such personalities, they feel that they cannot be joy, so they try to create joy. That is an inefficient, ineffective way to live. Tam niyamam asthaya. And living in such a way, niyama means to do. They're doing in such a way, they're following in such a way. Sri Krishna is sharing that there's a system here. That system is meaninglessness. That's how I live. Causes me to have more thoughts, which causes me to have more desires, which causes me to have more prints, as in vasanas. So he's sharing that what we do every day in terms of our actions, this is affecting our personality. This meaninglessness is the path of Preya. We analyzed a whole section of verses on the path of Shreya, that is meaningfulness. Now, the master teacher is comparing paths. This is the path of meaninglessness. Prakritya niyataha swaya. One follows this path because it's their nature, and by following this path, it becomes their nature. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm not going to be enlightened in this lifetime, so I don't follow the path of enlightenment, so I don't get enlightened in this lifetime, so I follow the path of darkness, and it just goes on like that. Final reflection. For those who follow Meaningful Mornings on Facebook also, since the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, we've been posting how we practice. For every verse, what is our community practice? And I've shared with all of you too, for every verse, you should find one way to personalize this verse. A key, a summary, and so on. So what would it be for this verse? Instead of following the sense organs, watch them. When you just want to eat more or watch more or talk more, instead of instinctively doing it, watch. Why do I want to talk more? I want to talk more because I want to be heard. Why do I want to be heard? Because I depend on others for validation. Why do I depend on others for validation? Because I feel I'm just my skin. So the more we watch, the more we will tune into not the path of Preya, but the path of Shreya. From inspiration to application. Your application was to go to our website, pick 3 applications to reflect and comment on this. In our Meaningful Mornings community, we are now approaching 500 reflections, which is most lovely. And I want to remind all of you, your reflections, what you write on our website, is the way I can commune with you. Right now, you're muted. You can't unmute yourself. The chat is limited, but I want to commune with you. I hope you're communing with me. This is how. Please be steady and sincere with your reflecting and writing. Your application for this morning, try not using one of your sense organs. Consciously try not using one of your sense organs. Preferably use your eyes, okay? For your own safety. Don't choose, I'm not going to use my eyes. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be joy.